Hello and welcome back to this series. So in the previous video you all saw that in SQL Server Management Studio we created a database named YogaDB, and inside that one table we have created sign up. Okay, so our sign up form was ready, as you all can see on the screen. Okay, like first name, last name, mobile number, address, email ID, password, and accordingly we have created the columns inside sign up table. So here in this video we'll see like how now the connection can be done between from this web page to that database. Okay, so that when user enters the detail here, okay, it should get enter in those columns in that table. Okay, so let's see how to do that. So basically whenever you open SQL Server, so this window comes, okay, where the server name have been placed, you all can see. So server name is like my PC, like this desktop, something, some letters combination, and then slash SQL Express. That's the instance name. So that's the server name. I'll take this name, okay, for a reference, and I'll just copy it here, because while learning database connectivity we come to know basically like when we want to have a connection object ask for four things, that is server name, database name, username and password. That four thing. Let me quickly present that slide so that you all will remember. So we saw this thing in database connectivity video, like connection needs server name, database name, username and password, then only connection will get established and it will give you the command object and through which you will fire the command. So let's see how this can be done now. So coming back to SQL Server, I'll just say connect. Okay, I've just copy pasted the name here. Even if you can't remember this name, you can refer it, like you can refer your own machine by single dot. Means this can be server name, or even this can be a server name having only dot. Okay, now moving on, I'll just expand the database section and you all can see our database there, YogaDB. Okay, now fine, we'll switch to Visual Studio. Here it is, and this is the sign up form. Okay, so now what we are supposed to, like, let me close all the other files. We have already put one button here and we have to write the code for that button. Like whenever we submit, the connection should be there. Okay, connection should get built and all the details from all the text boxes should get fetched and stored in that table. So now here in the toolbox section, you all can see down here we have got the Server Explorer window. Even if you can't see it here, then you can go to view and here you will see the Server Explorer option if it is not visible. Okay, so let me go to Server Explorer. So it's like exploring the servers around us. Okay, of course we have got the database inside one server, and of course our machine is only acting as a server, so we want to connect to that server now. Okay, so by default you will see the server name here, if you all can see. Okay, if you can't see, then you can go ahead like this. Okay, that is connect to a database. You have to click on this and you are trying to connect which type of database. Like we are trying to connect Microsoft SQL Server here. Inside there will be one database, so I'm connecting this thing. So you can go ahead by unticking this option, like always use the selection only, not needed. So Microsoft SQL Server, continue. Now here you all can see that they are asking the server name now, and we just have copy pasted, okay, the server name. We'll try with both the names. So let me take this name, okay, the server name, and copy paste it here. Okay, and accordingly you all can see that this particular Dropbox gets active here. So if I click on this, it is loading all the database this server has got. So it has master, model, MSDB, TMDB, and our database we all can also see here, YogaDB. Okay, so we can connect like this. Even if you want to change the name, let me change the name once again. Okay, if you can't remember that desktop something, so you can just put dot backward slash SQL something, and if you still see, you'll be still able to see all the databases in that server. We are referring to our own server, so that's why we can put dot there. Okay, so let me select the yoga db, and you can click on test connection. You should get this dialog box that test connection succeeded. Okay, and then click on OK. Done. So now you will be able to see the instance of your database here also in Visual Studio also now, and even you can operate your database from here also. Even this is a smart IDE, Visual Studio. So if I click on this, okay, you will be able to see the tables inside it, and of course we can see the table sign up here. Now let's go ahead with the coding part. Okay, again, before we start, okay, have a look here that we want to create a connection object. Of course, in our example it will be like SQL connection, and we have to submit and provide, you can say like that, provide 4 details like the server name, database name, username and password. Okay, like in our case there was no username and password. Okay, we did not use the SQL server authentication, we use Windows authentication. So for that, how to mention username and password, we'll see. So let me go to design phase. Here on the sign up form, we'll scroll down and I'll double click on this submit button, so that that event gets created behind the scene here. So now we are in sign up aspx.cs. okay, here we are. Now we have to start writing the code. Okay, of course I guess button has not been named properly, so that's why the name is coming like this, unnamed 7 click, something like that. Okay, if I want to check, I can go ahead again and I can check the ID of it. Okay, the event name they have just given that unnamed under unnamed, because ID was not given to that button object. So let it be. You can give the ID object and then click on it, double click on it, so accordingly it will get the name properly. So let me come here, let the name like this only. So basically this is the event register with that button. So whenever you will click the button, so whatever things will happen, you have to write the code here for that. Now let me begin with the first thing. So the first thing we want here is a connection object. Not only the connection, you can say you have to need SQL connection object. Okay, so let me write SQL connection. Of course it will not give you the suggestion, I'll tell you why. Okay, so I'm like SQL connection, let me declare the object name con for connection equal to new SQL connection, and we have to submit all the 4 things inside this parenthesis. So the very first error we are getting here, that the compiler or parser is not able to identify this. It's because we have not imported, you can say, or using that namespace where this class belongs. So you have to click here, you have to look for the suggestion. It is gathering the suggestion that now they are saying, okay, that you have to use this namespace called using system.data.sql client. You can directly go ahead, go top and write it down, or you can just click on this and you will see now it has been entered here. So we are using this namespace, okay, inside which all these objects are there or classes are there. We are creating the objects. Now here in the parenthesis, as we just have mentioned, we have to submit all the 4 details. Okay, so now let me write it for you all. So we have to mention all the parameters in double quotes here. So the very first name was server name, right, and then database name, and then username, and then password. There is one more shortcut for this, and this is something called connection string. Okay, that means you have to supply all the 4 things. So there is one shortcut here. If you click here on the left hand side, that is a database instance you have got here on the Visual Studio. Okay, this property window get active here. Inside the property window, you will be able to see this property called connection string, and exactly what this is we want. Okay, so I'll not waste the time here. I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it here. Again, I'll explain you what is happening here. Okay, so the first thing they were asking was like we have to supply the server name, like we are doing it here. So server name is represented by this variable name data source, like which source from where we have to gather the data. So data source, like the server name we have to give. So you all can see we are giving the server name here. that is dot slash SQL Express. Second thing we wanted to specify was database name after server name, and database name is specified by this variable, that is initial catalog, and we have just mentioned the database name also, that is yoga underscore db. Next thing, we wanted to specify username and password, but as you saw we are using Windows authentication mode, so we will just mention that integrated security is equals to true. That means our security is integrated with the Windows system. Otherwise, if you have SQL Server authentication and you know username and password, you can simply go ahead and type the variable name username, give the username, semicolon, and then password, and then give the password. Okay, that will also do. So now, here one error is coming here, just because that this thing, that slash backslash, okay, they are considering it as a escape sequence here. So we can simply put one more, okay, backslash, and it will ignore. Otherwise, there is one more way. We can put @ here outside double quotes. Even that will do. Okay, its choice is yours. Okay, fine. So now we have given all the things, like what connection object needs. This is server name, this is database name, this is integrated security, that is there are no username and password, we are using the integrated security. Now moving on. So here connection object will give you the command object. Let's see, we should ask connection object now to give us the command object. So how? So first of all, we have to declare that connection should get open. Connection open, okay, semicolon. A simple method, a simple name method, connection dot open. So connection will get open. Now you can declare object of SQL command, not command, SQL command, and you can have object name cmd and ask connection object to create command. Semicolon. Okay, so it will create the command for you. Next, now command object has to get registered with query string, that what query you want to fire. Of course, we are going with the connected approach and we want to store the data. Okay, so we'll just give the command insert command to command object, that is insert query, and let's see how to do that. And in fact also we have to pass the parameters. So let me switch here. Now, so call command object come here dot, it has got a property called command text. So now you have to write the query, whatever query you want to fire. So we want to fire a insert query, because whatever details user will insert, like enter in the sign up form, it should get inserted in that table. So I'll just say insert into table name was sign up. Okay, and then now if you all remember, we have got how many fields inside sign up table, you all can see here. If I maximize this, on the left hand side you all can see, and even let me show you the form. So how many fields we have? First name, last name, mobile number. There are 6 fields. Okay, we have 6 fields, but inside the table we had 7. The first one was ID. So now here in the query, yes, you all can see user ID was the first. Okay, so now here in the query you have to mention that which particular column details you will going to give. Okay, so all the column names which you are going to provide, give the name. Like I'll provide the details for F name, L name. Why we are doing it? Because we are not going to provide details for user ID, that will be generated automatically. How? You all know, you have seen my previous video. So F name, L name, and mobile, comma, address, comma, email ID, exact name what you have given in the database. Do not do the spelling mistake here. Whatever name you have just given, like if it is like F name, or a first name. So if it has first name, then mention first name here. In my case, it is f name, so I'm exactly mentioning the same name with no spelling mistakes. Email ID, and the last one was pwd for that, like password. So I will be providing all these details. Now the next thing is like values will be coming. Okay, values. So this is what I have written the query: insert into table name. Inside that table, I will be giving the details of our f name, l name, mobile address, email ID, and password. And the values will be coming from the user side. Of course, those are nothing but parameters. Okay, as I said here, like to the command object, you have to give two things: string and parameters. So now we have to decide the parameters name. We can exactly give the same name as a parameter. So like I'll give this name, like I can copy this parenthesis contained here also, and just mentioning here like at the rate means at runtime this value will get passed here in this query. Okay, we will register. You will see how to register. So basically what I have done, you all can see now, insert into sign up. I've just mentioned that this column I'll be giving the values, and the values are nothing but at the rate f name, at the rate l name. So these are nothing but the parameters which I'll be passing runtime. Okay, so simple query. Okay, and then now enter. Now we have to register the parameters. Okay, so let's see how to do that. So here I can again ask command object, come here. We want to add the parameters. So cmd dot, you all can see we are getting the solution cmd dot parameters. Then we have to add with value. Okay, so inside the parenthesis we have to like now specify like from where we will get the value, from where we'll get the value, and for which parameter you are submitting the value. So I'm like, okay, I am giving the value for f name. That was my first parameter. You can see here that was my first parameter, like f name, and the value you will get it from txt text box we had. You all can see we are getting the suggestion here: text box, first name, which property, text property, and then semicolon. Okay, so this is how we can register the parameters. Okay, we are asking command object, come here. We want to register the parameters, add with the values. I'm giving the value for f name, and it will be coming from this particular text box. One more time, cmd dot parameters dot add with value. Now this time in double quotes mention the name of the column, the L name I'll be giving for, and mention the text box from where it will come. So txt L name dot text. Okay, similarly you can go ahead and do it for rest of the columns and rest text box. So I've just mentioned 2 commas here. Let me remove one. Okay, yeah. So I'll do it for same for like mobile address, email ID, and password. Okay, now you all can see that I have entered all the like register all the parameters for mobile address, email ID, and password also, and you can see the text box names also associated with it. Now, so now things are ready, means command object is ready. Now in this case we will not be using the data reader object because we are not reading any data. We just want that this command should get fire, and all the details f name, l name, mobile address, email ID, password should get entered in that table. Okay, now finally we have to ask cmd object to come here. Okay, ignore this. Cmd object come here and say cmd, you have to now execute the query. Okay, so for that we have got so many other methods also, but we'll go with the execute non-query because you all can see the description that executes a transact SQL statement against the connection and returns the number of rows affected. That's it. We'll not be collecting any detail. Okay, we just want to fire this query. So for that we'll be using this method. The cmd, you are ready. We have given you the query string, we have given you the parameter. Okay, now you go ahead and execute the query. So it will execute that statement, whatever statement you have given to cmd. Okay, and then enter. You can simply click dot and then say the suggestion. Automatically Visual Studio will give you the suggestion for every method. Okay, description. You can go ahead and read and understand. This is how we learn. And then you can dispose. Okay, if things are done, okay, you can't make memory to hold those objects if their job is done. So just ask memory or just ask the compiler to dispose, okay, all the objects. So we are asking cmd object to come here and dispose. Okay, our work is done. Even we can ask connection object to, you know, close, because we have just opened it, so we can close it also. Like we just have opened here, we did our work here, and finally we are asking it to close. And after closing, we can ask user to get redirected. So you can just simply write this line, response.redirect semicolon, inside it, like after signing up, user should go to login.aspx. Okay, if it is our page, let me verify. Our page name is login only, right? Login. Yeah, it is login L small. Okay, so we are ready with our first code. First code means database connectivity code. Okay, and let's run this and let's see whether we are able to enter all this detail inside the table. We'll verify. So let me go to the sign up form, save it, right click, view in browser. If some error will come, we'll tackle from it. If you get some error, then please mention the error if you're not able to solve it in the comment section. We'll definitely try to reply. So here is the form now. Yeah, so here it is, first name. Okay, we'll give a first name here. So let me say like tech and then catalog. Okay, some random, and mobile number like 9876543 something, some 10 digits I've given here, and some address ABC Mumbai, something like that. Okay, email ID should be properly, because we have also applied here regular expression validator for the proper email ID, so we have to give a proper email ID. So I'll just mention tech career catalog @gmail.com. okay, and then password. I'll not tell the password. I'll just enter the numbers 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I'm telling it all. Fine. Some 7 numbers 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, and I'll just click on now submit, and now you all can see we have redirected to login form. You can kindly ignore this banner. If you want to remove this banner, you can do that. Now you all know how to do that. You just go ahead and go for the master page and remove this banner from there. So in every page you will not be able to see this banner. So we are on the login form. Okay, that means everything went well. And now let's verify. Okay, let's go to the SQL server, and from here we'll just expand the YogaDB and table, and we have got this table. So let's right click on it, and let's fire the select top 1000 rows. We don't have the 1000 rows, of course, we only have one row, but let's see. If I select this, it will write the query for you, that select query, and you will be able to see the output here. Great. So congratulations, you just saw, have experience now, like this is how it is done. User ID have got feeded 100 by default. F name was tech, L name catalog, mobile number something, address something, email ID something, and password something like that. Okay, so this is how you can write the code for sign up form. Do not worry, we'll give you this code, okay, in the description. There will be one link. You can directly take the code from our website and paste it in your own project and do this little bit modification if you have got. So that's it from this video. Thank you.
That's all guys from this video. If you really like this video, press like button and do subscribe to our channel. If any queries or suggestions, do comment below. For more such updates, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.